Alrighty, there we go. There he is. I'm a little carp. I'm a little baby carp. Boom! Okay, there goes the crappies on that. Alright.
Welcome to Crappie Hippies at the Bench, an instructional video series on how to tie your own jigs, flies, and create your own fish-catching baits. Brought to you by Glasswater Angling for a better outdoors, makers of lead-free fishing tackle, inventors of Angle King, the Crappie Dueler, and home to hand-tied jester jigs, Ring King paddle tail grubs, lead-free jig heads, and more. Check us out at glasswaterangling.com. And now here's Crappie Hippie at the bench.
Hey everybody, Crappie Hippie here, your tree-hugging redneck from eastern Kansas, and I have a little bit of explanation. I originally shot this video as 3 mop jig ties in one video, but I decided that was entirely too long, so I decided to break the video up into 3 parts and do each separately. So if you hear me say something weird like, oh, this is part 2, or the editing seems a bit jerky, that's the reason why, because I've taken, this is actually the second jig I tie in the long video, but I decided to do it first, and so if there's any confusion there, that's why. Now we're working on a 1/16 ounce bismuth alloy jig head with a number 4 Aberdeen hook. We're going to tie it crappie style, which simply means that instead of being a handful of boo or a hank of bucktail, and laying it on there and then adding some chenille body, we're just going to add the microfiber mop on there and make it just like a crappie jig. The video like this of the jig swimming around and my comments there too is on at the end of the video. But anyway, I'm ready to get going, but first we got to get out and find ourselves some materials.
See, that's almost as expensive as the whole mop, and they're really short. I mean, they would work, but nope, no sale. My search continues. I wasn't having any luck finding anything, and then I came down to the automotive section, and I found this, which is a pretty red hot color, and I'm going to go ahead and try this. This one is $5.50, but look at all the material you get with that mitt. So that's going to be another source of Mop Fly tails. Really cool. Hey everybody, it's Crappie Hippie, your tree-hugging redneck from eastern Kansas at Crappie Hippie at the bench. Welcome. We're tying mop jigs today. You know how the fly tires, they kind of steal our stuff. They take our 60-degree jig head and call it a nymph. And you know, at one point they was arguing a jig wasn't a fly, but then they turned around and started using that 60-degree. Loving it, and just because some guy in Czechoslovakia started doing it, apparently they thought it up first instead of us. But they stole our jig head. Well, we're going to steal something back from them. We're going to take that mop fly and we're going to turn it into a jig. And I'm going to get through this intro real quick because we've got a lot going on today. I'm going to tie 3. Don't have to hang around for all that, but I'm going to go ahead and tie 3 mop jigs 3 different ways, and we're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each. Coming up next on Crappie Hippie at the bench. Okay, let's get started here. Let's talk real quick about Mop Fly Material. Now, you can buy it from a supplier. You can buy it from a fly shop. Alrighty. And that cost me about $3 something for 2 yards. So we're talking $1.50, $1.75 a yard. Alrighty, and that's fine because I'll get a lot of bugs out of these, and there's no problem with that. You can also find it other places. Like I was with my daughter, my 26-year-old baby daughter, and we were on our way to the movies, and we cut through Joann's at the mall, and in the bargain bin I saw this entire skein of baby blanket yarn. This is either like 99 yards or 199 yards. Anyway, it is a ton of yarn, a ton of material. $5, okay? I think straight up retail, these things are like $8-10. So you're going to save a lot of money buying baby blanket yarn. tie your mop jig. So here's another option for you. Lots of colors, lots of variation. Make a trip to Joann's or the sewing shop or whatever the outlet is near you. Check out your baby blanket yarn. There's another place you can get it. The original mop flies were made out of an actual mop. This is a mop mitt that I got in the automotive section at Dollar General. Okay, it was $5.50, and I could make 8 gabillion mop jigs off of that. Super loud orange like this is great for a lot of things. Anywhere there's carp in the water as a forage, it's great. Pumpkin seeds, bluegills, any kind of darters, colorful darters, anywhere you're going to have a real colorful fish that tends towards orange somewhere in its body. This is a great color to have along. So for $5.50, I'm going to get 18 gabillion orangey jigs out of that, and that's going to be kind of cool too. So,
alrighty, I warned you that the transitions are going to be a little weird in this one. Anyhow, we're getting ready to move into the orangey-porangey carp imitation crappie style jig right now.
Because we're going to do the next one. This is crappie hunter style. And I've got some ponds on my rotation that have really good carp forage in them. Good bass water. They're clear as a bell. Carp get a bad reputation for making the water muddy a lot of times, and I don't want to start a big argument about carp and all that. But a lot of times carp get vilified unfairly. If there ain't no forage in a water body for a carp to eat, then it's just going to root around on the bottom and get something out of the mud rather than starve, and they're going to make the water muddy. But if you're in a pond where there's a good balance of water weeds and the water's fertile, and there's a lot of things for them to eat in terms of scuds and little mussels and little insects, and they can nip on the plants and all kinds of things like that, then they feed up in a different column and the water stays clear, and they get huge, and bass eat their young like it's going out of style, and crappie will too. So let's build an orangey-porangey carpie jig, and we're going to start this and darters. There's orange darters out there, and there's, your pumpkin seeds and stuff. So I'm going to make this carp looking though. So it's going to have the orange in it. It's going to have black in it, Put a little red in it if you want. You can do whatever you want. But what I mean by crappie style, we'll show you here in a minute. So now I'm going to get my mitt, and I'm just going to come down here. And the thing about the mitt, when you don't, your tails are going to be all the same because you can't exactly stretch this out. It's not like having the yarn of either kind, but that's okay. So I'm gonna put this in here, and what the deal is that we crappie guys kind of make this work for us like we would any other tail. Okay, we want it to adhere to the body, and you can see how it's trying to roll on me. So you want it, you go loose until you get it in position, then you tighten down. If you just go tight right from the get-go, it's going to keep wanting to roll here and there and there. Nothing wrong. Position it with your fingers, and then just tighten it down. That's all you do. Just position it with your fingers, tighten it down, okay? And then that's never coming out of there. And then, like I say, you can start your chenille back here and go forward. But I like to go down and back, especially on a mop fly with a tail with this much girth to it, because we want them to scale. We want them to kind of match. And what I don't like is a tail that's way fatter than the body. The body can either taper forward or be even, but I really don't like bodies that taper down toward the head. It just, because, it's just, I don't know, it's just odd looking to me. It may not bother the fish, and it may not bother you, but that's kind of how I was taught, and I've always liked, a jig that looks either it's getting a little fatter down toward the end or staying nice and even, So I'm going to tie this in real good. I'm going to bring it back down here, because what I should have done is laid it in, started the tie here and run it back. And as a matter of fact, I may edit this part out. You make a mistake, all you do is undo it and start where you should have. So we should have come down to the middle, because you want your thread, you want to plan where your thread's ending up. You know, I'm actually so excited to be doing video today. I'm kind of rushing, and I also don't like my videos to be over long. I've learned that the longer they are, the least popular they are when it comes to instructional. And but boy, did I want to make 3 today. So we're going to push right on through this. But I still want to show you, you know, you back out of a mistake, that's no problem. So I'm going to get this. I'm tugging it, tug it tight. And you got a jig here that won't come apart. I don't care what, you know, how many bass, how many crappies, how many whatevers you catch with this thing. It's going to stay with you. It's going to stay with you. I'm going to give that one more wrap right in there. Okay. And I'm going to bring it back just like that. And I'm tugging it every now and then to make sure that my chenille does what I want it to do. Okay. And there, and there, and there. Look at that. Isn't that just neat? That's just slick as a whistle, I swear. I like this, you know, I have no truck against plastics. I don't care about plastics. Plastics are fine. I wish, you know, people got to make sure they dispose of them properly and all that. But as the whole plastic mess gets worse and worse, I'm always looking for different material alternatives to plastic too. So I got a lead-free bismuth alloy jig head on here. I've got me, even though this is, you know, there's some polyester and rayon's not exactly a natural fiber. This jig will hold up, oh my gosh, it'll hold up 100 fish, you know, easy. Tough stuff, your natural materials, whereas plastic can get tore up and needs replacing a lot of times. After a dozen fish, this'll go 50 to 100 fish, no problem. All right, you know the method I like to. And I used to jam all the glue down in there. Whoops, sorry to hit the camera. I used to jam that glue down in there with kind of a toothpick and stuff, and then I learned this little trick, which I just think is outstanding, because that gets all your glue clear down in there where your wraps are going, and I'm gonna pull that tight, pull that, snug that down. And then, you know, here's what I like to do. All right, whip finish, twist, over, twist, over. Okay, 3 times. You can do this up to 7 times, 6 times. But you don't want to do it so many times you can't pull it tight. So I'm going to snug that down in there. And then I like to do what I call the British method, where you do your twist down here. 1, 2, 3. 1 over. And I'm snugging that down in. And break it, and there you go. There's the second version, what I call the crappie style version, and that makes a really fun, buoyant, butt kicking jig. Alrighty, there we go. There he is. I'm a little carp. I'm a little baby carp. Boom. Okay, there goes the crappies on that. All right, in goes the one made from the mitt, and this one gets hydrolyzed really quick and absorbs the water, and of course it does, because it's a sponge and it's a mop and it's supposed to soak up water and help you clean your car. So that is a beautiful action on that. I'm tying this little so we don't have much stand-up going on there. We don't have any. I mean, that one's even faster than the baby blanket for getting its hydrolyzation on. And God, that's got a nice little beaver tail action. And you could dead stick that along. I don't know, you know, if that droopy tail bother him or not, but I know moving, this is more of a throw and reel. I mean, it would look great, you know, dancing in the current, moving in the current, but it doesn't have the head down, hey, I'm dead type motion. It's got more of that lazy, possibly disorientated baby carp. And if I was a big old black bass, I'd be like, that's some easy pickings there. So there you go. That's tied crappie style with the mop off the car wash mitt that I got at Dollar General. And I think that's pretty freaking cool. And we'll do another video when I use this. I can't tell you when, but Tommy will take me over to Linda's Lake, and that's one of my places where I know bass feed on carp like crazy. And we'll see if we can finesse some bass with our ultralights and these little bitty jigs. Alrighty, next.